Cinematic FPV is the reason that I started flying FPV drones. Oh my god, that is going to look sick. So in today's video we're going to talk about my 10 tips for starting cinematic FPV. These 10 tips are grouped into 4 simple categories and are as follows. Now there are lots of simulators out on the market where you can practice to fly with things like cars, motorbikes, balloons. They've also got options to fly down mountainsides, in deserts, around water. So simulators like Uncrash, Trip FPV, DRL, Liftoff, all have options where you can practice with some of the things that you're going to be flying cinematically around. Try and fly with a fake GoPro when you're practicing. Every time you add an action camera to your FPV drone, it adds weight and changes the flight characteristics of the drone. Practice with something that simulates the weight of your GoPro. So dummy GoPros, fake GoPros, whatever you want to call them, something that acts the same as the GoPro you intend on using. When you start flying FPV, you'll probably learn in some sort of assisted mode, angle mode they call it. So as soon as you can, learn how to fly in an acro mode that's full manual. That will give you the most control, the most precision, so you can get the shot exactly the way you want to do it and you don't have any interference from systems and gyros and things like that. If you're building your own cinematic drones, 5 inches, 7 inches, you want to be flying 6S. This, for one, gives you a little bit more power, more responsiveness, and longer lasting battery times. You don't want to start on 4S and then have to buy yourself a whole lot of 6S batteries. So start on 6S because those are the batteries you're inevitably going to be using. There's a million different systems that you can use for your VTX, for your video, to make sure that when you start flying cinematic FPV that you use a digital FPV system like the DJI system or something similar to that. I wouldn't recommend that you go on the analog route, and the reason being is you are supposed to mimic flying what the final image is going to look like. So fly HD so that you're actually living and flying the shot that you're going to be giving to director. Don't bother with analog, although they're cheaper and they're lighter. Yes, you're not worried about lightness, to be honest, and nimbleness. You're worried about getting the best shot possible. And now a word from our sponsor. You want to be flying the correct drone. So if you're flying around people, you need to have quads that have guards on them. And if you're flying, big, wide, open areas where you require speed, that's probably not the right drone for you. But if you're flying around people and things that can't be broken, you want to use something that has guards. Now, obviously, sometimes you won't have the luxury. Like, as an example, when I was chasing sports cars, you can't do that with a drone like this. Use the correct drones to get the correct shot. Next on the list in your pursuit of being a cinematic FPV pilot is to be, in fact, cinematic. Remember, you're not here to fly acro, you're not here to fly freestyle, you're here to be cinematic. So the moves that you want to make are to be long and smooth and gentle, because that's cinematic. And someone once told me that the purpose of using FPV drones in these new films and stuff is to get the same shot but in a different way. So they're not looking for wild shots unless that's the intent. But for the most part, they're looking to get the same shot, just in a slightly different way. So to be more cinematic is to be gentle, to be smooth, and then you will be producing cinematic footage that people actually want to watch. My hand is freezing, bro. Okay, rule number 1 of flying FPV drones, make sure your hands are warm enough. And the other rule is you want to make sure you have ND filters. So when you have an ND filter, it's like wearing sunglasses on your FPV drone. It'll allow you to use a slower shutter speed and get that natural motion blur. And you're probably going to need that in places where you've got direct sunlight like we have right now. One of the other things totally worth doing is learning how to color grade. For GoPro stuff, it's a basic color correct and then your style and some sharpening. I will link a video at the end of this video for a color grading tutorial so I can show you guys exactly how I do that for each of my videos. But it's really important for you to learn how to color grade. That will help your videos look way more cinematic, because there is a cinematic look, and if you don't know how to get that, it'll never look cinematic. It'll just look like a GoPro action camera shot. So on your cinematic journey, make sure that you learn how to build and repair all your FPV drones, because no doubt you're going to crash them. What are we going to do?
We have to jump the fence, or...
I can see it.
You got it, yes!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No way! And it didn't break! I would encourage you to learn how to solder, how to put them together, how to operate in beta flight, and there are tons of resources for you to do this. One of those people being Joshua Bardwell.
I'm Joshua Bardwell. You're going to learn something today.
Go check out Joshua Bardwell if you haven't already figured him out, and learn how to repair your drones. It's super important. One of the most important things with cinematic FPV is to pack loads of spare parts and tools. Now, wherever you fly, you're most likely going to crash, because without those things, you're basically lost. You're never going to be able to get up in the air again. If you found this valuable in any way, please consider subscribing. It's totally free to do so, and you can unsubscribe at any time in the future. If there's anything you would like to add to this list, please leave it in the comments down below so you can help other people, and we'll see you guys in another video. Bye-bye.